All right, traders, welcome back to the channel. It's Jimmy Trades here. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on the notification icon. That way you can catch all my videos when they drop, including the shorts, when I'm starting to roll them out now. Hope they're valuable for you guys. Hope you're finding some interest in them. Be sure to share the channel far and wide. Alrighty, we're going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to do a high-level look at a few assets on daily bias. So we're just going to look at the daily chart, because what I really want to do is break down the loss that I took on NQ yesterday and show you guys what my thoughts were and why I was in the position and why the position failed. Okay, so I want to have a look at that. I think it'll be quite educational and good value. So let's jump into the calendar first of all. Remember to grab your Tradeify and Apex emails, guys, both on sale right now. Tradeify 30% off, 40% off for new users, and Apex 80% off across the board. Okay, we have Thursday, high impact news, 8:30 a.m. Beautiful. 8:30. Love to get the news out of the way so we can start hunting. Alrighty, let's jump over to the charts, and we're going to just start on the daily across the board. We'll have a look at some assets. Let's get over here onto NQ. So we did have a daily bias of a bullish bias yesterday, and it looks like that is playing out. We've come down, we swept this low again. So we swept previous day low into this bullish FEG, and we're getting a midweek reversal here, which is what I discussed in yesterday's video. So looking at this high to be our draw, we're very close to that already. Remaining bullish as we continue to push through. We want to see price disrespect this bearish FEG here, and then we can hunt for this high up here. All right, so remaining bullish for NQ. Let's have a look at ES on the daily. Same deal here, guys. And you can see the markings here that we've already got drawn out. So we're going to look for price to reach this high. Same deal, swept out, midweek reversal. So we look for a Thursday continuation, and then potentially Friday to retrace a little. So looking at price to be for the weekly open, low, high, close, essentially is what we're looking at. All right, and then this week stands out a draw there for me. I like these large wicks to act as a draw. So I could see price getting up there. If we close beyond, this is the hourly standard deviations. If we close through the 2.5 there, we can definitely anticipate price to want to reach higher. So bullish for ES. Oil. Great call on oil yesterday. And the bearish bias swept out the highs here. Just fell short of that bearish FEG. What did RB do? RB, so we had an SMT with RB. RB swept this gap. CL did not. We have swept previous day low into a bearish FEG, but what I want to watch for is the midpoint of the previous day's range. And while we continue to respect that level, I'll look for price to run lower. We'll look for current daily low, and then followed by the low down here. All right, 6E. Got the bias wrong yesterday. We were looking for price to run higher, but we were still respecting this bearish FEG. We're looking for price to reach back to the low-hanging fruit, being these equal highs, and that hasn't happened. So we've swept out the lows here now into this bullish FEG. If we continue to respect that, then we'll look for price to run higher. I'll keep a bullish bias for now. Dixie. Going to look for price to sweep out the high here into this gap. Okay, and then once we sweep that out, look to see a reaction. If price reacts, then look for price to potentially run lower. Bullish until we reach this level, and then we'll look for a reaction. GU, got the bias right here yesterday, and considering GU and EU are fairly well correlated, it would make sense that we probably should have had a bearish bias yesterday, but I don't read the charts like that. Correlated assets can move in different directions, so I just like to see what the chart is telling me, and I'm looking for these lows to be swept out. Very close to them already. Following from that, if we don't get a reaction at that low, we'll look for this low here. It's also into that hourly theme level, that target area that we like to have between the -2 and 2.5. We're going to close through there. We can even anticipate price to maybe want to get down into this gap aligned with this low here. Going to remain bearish for GU. Jumping over to crypto. Let's check out Bitcoin. Lovely move. Look at that. Look at that target area we had there. Straight up to it. Milling back to... Did we actually crack 100K today? No. We haven't cracked 100K yet. But I'm liking this. Great move. Close through these opposing candles into the target area, so we can anticipate a potential consolidation and then a move higher. Again, if we get a close above the -2.5, let's look to see price potentially reaching up to the 107 level. Lovely. Nice move today for Bitcoin. All right. Let's roll back now. Let's jump over to NQ, and I want to break down the trade. So we'll have a review of yesterday's price action. So we're starting on the daily, and we're looking at price for a bullish bias. Okay. If we move down to the hourly, and we're just going to replay here. We've got this 1800 candle. Now this is quite a strong push higher, and it left a large gap through here. So keeping an eye on this gap. Were we going to remain in respect of this gap or not? We had that bullish bias. So let's fast forward a little bit. What are we there? That's the 2200 candle. We'll just fast forward to, we want so we had period of consolidation here. This is our 7 o'clock candle. You can see this consolidation. Now, at this point, we get a reaction lower. So this is our 8 o'clock candle. We move lower at this point. I'm also thinking or considering that price might want to draw down to the 1800 low. And if we pull up ES next to the chart here, which is how I trade, we can see that ES had no wick to the downside. There was no wick. So this is a high level drawn liquidity. So during the open, I was considering, okay, maybe price will want to run out this low. So let's drop down. I was looking at the 3-minute for the cleanest. It looked like the cleanest chart to me. So on the 3-minute, we've waited for open. Here comes open. And we'll just roll forward a little bit. We're stuck at a bit of structure here. Okay. So here at this moment in time, we're still respecting the hourly bullish FEG. Okay. We then end up with an SMT at the lows here with ES. That ticks one of the boxes for my model. SMT at a high time frame point of interest. We then have a breaker. And we also have, at this time, a change in the state of delivery. We've got a close through these opposing candles. ES also closed through that level. And I'm looking for that too. Okay. So that's what I want to see. And you can see that SMT here. So I want to see both assets close through. Here is where we get our entry. If you didn't market order in. And we're going to target 2R. I was actually going to look at just taking profit at this level. This high stands out for me. And we start to get our move higher. At this same time, I'm watching the hourly chart because I have that next to my candlesticks all the time. And as I'm talking through this on stream, I'm noticing that, NQ looks like it might be a little bit stronger here. It's trying to push through this FVG, but ES is not. I'm in this trade already, okay? But ES is not able to push through. It's reacting, okay? So we roll forward and we start to fail here. Now, it was at this level here that I actually moved my stop to this low. The reason I moved my stop to this low is because I was witnessing this reaction on ES and the consolidation on ES compared to NQ, which was trying to push up. ES certainly wasn't. It was just chopping sideways. The reaction at the FEG, and I was like, all right, I'm going to reduce my risk, move my stop to the swing low here. So it wasn't a huge loss, but it was a loss nonetheless. Okay, and as we see, price just melted after that. All right. Now, a good example here of, stepping up. For example, and then an elevator down. Right, it's a very quick move down. So we built up all this liquidity through here and then move down. All the components were here for me to enter my trade. However, at the start of the stream, I mentioned this 1800 as a potential draw. We got a structural trade. So structurally, this trade was great. But my number one thing is actually looking at the draw. Where's price likely to go to? Well, I went against that because the draw for me was actually looking to this low, but we started to push away. So I was thinking, okay, well, maybe we're not going to reach that low. Let's see what happens. There it is. The draw swept out. Now, what else could have given us insight here as to why the trade would have failed? Well, let's roll it back a little bit. I'll clear the chart and let's push out to the hourly. This is something that I was discussing with DTR. Okay, and it makes perfect sense to me. Let's mark out, this is a significant candle, okay? This is all buy side, very little sell side here. So huge buy side, sell side inefficiency, okay? There's all buy side in here. So we start to move lower. Let's mark out the equilibrium. So the equilibrium is the 50% level of this candle from the wicks. Okay, that's the 50% level. We have an SMT at the high. And have a look where the displacement happens. We've got a C2 candle here, or a swing point candle. C2 is taught by T-Trades. This is a swing point candle. We get displacement through. And yes, this candle here was quite a strong bullish candle. This was also part of the reason I got into that trade, because I saw this as potential respecting this bearish, this bullish FEG. But here is the trick. Consolidation, we displaced through the equilibrium. Then what did price do? It comes up, tests that level, respecting these opposing candles, and melts. Okay. Next candle is going to take out that low. That was our draw. There was our draw. We went against our draw because of this candle here, but we didn't consider these other elements. So when looking at price, mark out these levels. Mark out, we have an SMT at the high. We've got a closure with displacement through these opposing candles, which is also at the equilibrium of this aggressive bullish candle. What does smart money want to do? They want to take all these orders, all these buy orders. They want to take them all away. They want to fill their pockets. And I fell victim to that. There is great information here and insight into how we could have prevented that loss on NQ. I will be journaling and have journaled and taken notes for this information. Okay. And that if we had have considered this information at the time of taking that position, and I'm just going to slide it back here and drop down to the 3 minute again. This is the opposing candles, the hourly opposing candles, this level here. This is where we could have actually exited the position. We were looking for that 2R. As we roll forward, we react. We could have exited the position here in profit, looking at that as respecting the opposing candles, which were into this bearish FEG, and considering that ES was also unable to push through this bearish FEG, and the draw was to the low. I hope, guys, that you are able to grab some valuable information from this video recap, or this recap of the trade that I did take yesterday. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see more of this type of stuff, breaking down the winners in more detail, breaking down the losses in more detail. The idea here with the Jimmy Trades channel and Trade Foundry is to not only educate myself and to learn from my own trading, but to help others learn along the way. So please feel free to comment. Let me know what your thoughts are, and be sure to share the channel far and wide, because I want to make sure that everyone has the same opportunity that you do and that I have been given over my trading journey. Description has the link to Trade Foundry, guys. I'd love to see you over there. Have a great Thursday. Bye for now.